Tonight I wanna see the bright lights over me. Show me something magical. Show me everything I want and more. The best of the good life.
Join the party this weekend on Top Billing, as award-winning designer Laurie Wiid shows how cork is the ultimate sustainable way for business and nature to work together. One's vegetarian, the other prefers vors. One will drop you with beets, the other with a black belt. They're SK and Abdul Khoza, siblings but not rivals. Zimbabwean artist Portia Zvavahera paints her dreams in sweeping scenes, now catching the world's attention. We're baking with Nadiya Hussain, the self-taught home cook who took home the greatest prize in British baking. And your presenters this evening, Fez Mkhize and Jonathan Boynton-Lee, bring you the show from a home of constant discovery, built by husband and wife, Pretty Mashudu Shandukani.
Good evening, it's Top Billing night.
And welcome to the show. Now, telling somebody to put a cork in it can be a little insulting.
Unless you're Laurie Wiid van Heerden, who sees it as an invitation to express his award-winning flair for design using one of the most sustainable materials known to man.
Or woman.
We're talking cork.
Since he began experimenting with cork, Laurie's work has won awards for production excellence, branding, original design, and for its impact in the world of art, the environment, and social upliftment. At a time when the planet needs it more than ever.
Laurie, you're the founder and owner of the award-winning Wiid Design Studio. Tell me more about what you do.
So we are a product design studio where we focus a lot on furniture design, and we also incorporate objects and hand-carved elements. Currently, we experiment with timber, steel, cork, ceramics, glassware. We collaborate a lot with artists such as Ceramic Matters, Lionel Smith. So it's quite a diverse design studio where we do a lot of commissioned work, or we've got a large product range which people can buy and customize.
Your studio has become widely known for its high-end use of cork in product design, but why did you choose that as your main medium?
I love working with cork because it's lightweight and it's easy to export, it's easy to move. It's also a nice medium, it's very tactile, it's a very warm material. So what I find is clients love to engage with natural materials. That's why timber furniture is so popular, and cork is essentially timber, it's bark from a tree. And also it's a very positive industry and it increases sustainability in the world.
Cork trees live for 300 years, their bark producing this light, fire-retardant material on an ongoing basis as they continue to grow.
With so many incredible pieces around, do you have a favorite?
I would say it's the Meraki daybed. We worked really hard on this project. It was commissioned by the American Harvard Council and was called the project Seat to Seat, where they approached a few South African designers to design something in timber, in a certain species of timber, which they would sponsor, to test the sustainability around the material. So we incorporated cork with soft maple, and then the maple was hand-carved in-house. The whole look and feel of this product was based on the Sanufu people. So I think it's very relevant for my studio to design something that's got African carving in it and also that represents sustainability on an international scale.
The cork in this lamp is entirely organic and recyclable, won the best lighting design, and set the record for the world's largest cork pendant, which is among the reasons Samkelo Ntoba enjoys working here.
It's incredible to think that all your pieces start off as this piece of bark right here.
Yeah, cork it's a very interesting natural material. Once the cork oak tree is mature enough to be harvested, at about 27 to 28 years, then they harvest it for the first time. It's called virgin cork. After they have removed the cork stoppers from the actual bark, which is their main core business, they would mill it up into granules, like you see here, and then mold it into block form and cut it into boards or sheets, and that's the material I use for my products.
You've got the cork. What's the next step in your design process?
We essentially would laminate the boards in the way we want to. We machine it and then in-house manufacture and shape it. When we manufacture our stools, every single grade of cork will have a different application, different glues, different finishes, and yeah, we would design around the material basically.
And why are some of these boards a lot darker than the others?
Within the cork manufacturing process, there's a lot of different grades and a lot of different processes and obviously uses, from flooring to tiles, to gaskets, to NASA, to skateboards, anything. So essentially the cork you look at here, these are facade grades, and then you also get composite grades, which is very high density, which I use to machine and design more intricate products. If you look at the cork at the back here, this is a facade grade, it's an outdoor product. So this is our new terrazzo collection. I wanted to incorporate Italian recycled stone, which terrazzo is. It's recycled marble with a composite cement to form the new terrazzo collections.
Well, Sam, this looks really interesting. What are you working on over here?
Basically, after they finish laminating the cork, we just make sure that we sand according to the shape to make sure that everything is nice and smooth before it goes to the client, to make sure that the quality is perfect.
What do you love the most about working with Laurie?
I think Laurie's a nice guy. He's a very sweet guy to work with him, and we learn a new thing each and every day because they design and then they come out to downstairs to finish everything. So every day you learn a new thing.
Laurie feels the same about learning new things by collaborating with renowned international design and decor consultancies like Robert Sherwood's.
Robert, you and Laurie are really good friends, but aside from that, why did you decide to display his work in your showroom?
Well, I think that friendship is such a great starting point to work from when you're showcasing a person's work. The pieces, for me, are such beautiful, simple pieces. They work in any space. There's a quality about them that I love, and then the person behind them.
What is it about his work that stands out amongst other designers?
He's got such an amazing product range with a beautiful pared down simplicity that we relate to so well. Not only do we showcase Laurie's products in the showroom, but we also use them in projects that we design. And Laurie loves a good design challenge. He's great to collaborate with on bespoke pieces.
His parents, Kobus and Esme van Heerden, are entrepreneurs in tourism, in education, and he's inherited their flair.
It's amazing how this table comes to life when it's placed in a real setting. But what inspired this collection?
The inspiration came from 50s design. If you look at most of my work, there's always a lot of curves and shapes, and cork sort of lends itself to that. And the combination with the terrazzo and the cork just works really well as an outdoor furniture collection. Both materials are suitable for outdoors, and it's very original to combine the two materials.
You've been working with cork for almost 10 years now and have won numerous awards along the way, but which one has been the most memorable for you?
I would say it's the Brave Award. India Bird has been a huge supporter of me and my work, and I've always loved the charity she's run, which was Rock Girls, and now it's Brave. So it's supporting women and children in South Africa, it's educating them, and my studio has been a part of that journey where we've donated hand-painted benches by the artist Lionel Smith that gets auctioned off for the charity, or I would donate Musenberg benches. But essentially it's creating safe spaces for women and children. And the fact that she awarded me the Brave Award was basically showing me that at least I'm doing something that's doing some good. It's not just high-end product design and cool stuff. It's something that's special, you know?
The new Spectrum collection in glass and cork shows he's as prolific as ever in an industry which demands it. What keeps him ahead is having learned not to worry, but to come back at problems with a positive mindset in the morning. Clearly, it's working.
So Laurie didn't become the nature conservationist or National Geographic photographer he dreamed he'd be as a child.
But he went one better with the sustainable design, ensuring that there will still be a planet to conserve and photograph tomorrow.
Next, behind their roles in TV drama, brothers SK and Abdul Khoza open up about fatherhood, karate, hip-hop, and veggies versus Boers.
Australia has the Hemsworths, America the Waynes, the Jonases.
And we as South Africa have our own set of showbiz brothers, Abdul and Stembiso Khoza.
They're as different as night and day, and beyond what you see on screen, there's so much more to them than meets the eye.
Naturally competitive, Stembiso was the firstborn of the brothers. He excelled in cricket, rugby, soccer, and karate, which he practices to this day. He was so talented that he was awarded his black belt before he was a teenager. And all signs pointed to this passion becoming a career.
It's clear that you have a deep love for sports. You studied sports management at the University of Johannesburg. How did you end up in acting?
I had an interview on no lean 3 talk. And I got there an hour early, only to find that the producer of Inkaba was there looking for a new character. So they came up to me and they're like, are you here for? I'm like, no, I'm not here for an audition or anything. They're like, but would you like to audition? You see, the things about Simbiso Khoza, I never miss an opportunity. You call me, I'm there. I went and I did an audition and it went well. I was called for only 3 calls for the character, but because I did so amazingly well that I ended up doing the entire series.
This black belt wasn't about to miss his opportunity to convert Ayanda to karate, though she proved better at some aspects than others.
Ever since the age of 5, my dad put my brother and I, Abdul, into karate. I love him for that, more than anything, because karate, the best thing that comes out of it is the discipline. And why not want to live that throughout your life? I'm going to teach you the very first. It's called Keke Saich. So say Keke Saich.
Keke Saich.
Yeah, so keep your hands together. But now a kata, when you scream it out, you go Keke Saich!
Woo!
So I need you to do that. No, I need you to do it.
Okay.
The thing about it is it's the pride in it.
Oh my
the reason why we shout it out is because you have pride in it.
Okay.
So you gotta own it. You can't just say Keke Saich. Keke Saich! Keke Saich!
No,
This is Ayanda saying Keke Saich. Keke Saich! Yay!
Finally!
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
On the personal front, SK's greatest joy would be to see his daughters Ayanda and Yaya graduate. They are his chief motivation, even if they're not yet old enough to watch the telenovela he stars in.
Lele, how did you feel when Dad surprised you at school?
I was very happy when my daddy showed up on a TV crew.
And Yaya, what do you love to do the most with Dad?
I love cooking and going to the park with him and watching his shows.
SK, it's so evident that you share such a close bond with your kids.
I promised myself one thing, I would be there from day one. And when I say day one, I mean from the moment they're in their mom's stomach to the moment they get out into life. And more than anything, I want them to feel that I'm there. I want them to see me every day. I can't imagine my life without my girls.
Or his brother Abdul Khoza, the star on another hit drama series. Abdul's creativity is a many splendid thing, and now also finds expression in hip-hop.
Yo, you know what? I came in here and I was like, I was watching you guys and I was like, there's no way I can let you have so much fun without me being in there.
No, of course, you're welcome,
You know, a lot of people know you as your character Capella, but they don't know this music side of you. So tell me about it.
I've always had a love for music. It's a way of sharing yourself more. So it's a creative space for me. I mean, I'm releasing an EP with my group Audio Assassins very soon.
Music is a beautiful way to communicate what's in your heart. So what message are you trying to share?
To be honest with you, this is my favorite jacket whenever I come to studio, because as you can see, there's my daughter in the back and myself. So when I make music, I always put her first. So even, with the cussing and everything, I know I do hip hop, but I chose I'm gonna be the rapper that doesn't swear, because I want to make music for all ages. It's a better message that way when you can share it with everyone.
Guys, it's clear that you have so much fun with Abdul. What is it like working with him?
Abdul is one passionate person all the time, always consistent in what he does. So he's an exciting person as well when you work with him. You can never, ever, 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 ever feel pressure when you're with this guy. He's the man for the moment, basically.
For me, it's simple. If you can beat him, join him. So he's on to something, man. He's going somewhere. You guys better watch this space.
Since his first big role on Intersections, drama has become his mainstay. At home, we got a picture of the approach to life and work, which won him his biggest accolade.
I see you continuing with the positive vibes. You've got the quote of the week, be happy. Does that stay the same every single day, or does that change?
Well, you know what? I always make sure that I keep positive things on that board, like be happy, love hard, always keep focused. It's things that help me stay positive, so that when I also go in there and I'm writing my music, I keep the positive energy flowing,
something that I would keep close to me is that SAFTA over there.
Most definitely. I mean, the SAFTA is one of my greatest achievements in my craft so far. I was not expecting it, but to actually see that the audience has received my character so well, you know, I really appreciate it.
With the demands of work, fitness is a routine Abdul practices at home. During his years in the Defence Force and the Fire Brigade, it used to come with a job.
Fitness is definitely something that has followed you your whole life, especially coming from the army, being a firefighter and a paramedic.
You know what, it was tough times in terms of physical training. But I learned a lot. I learned a lot being in the army, and I learned a lot being a fireman as well. You know, it's a selfless job. It's a calling more than anything. Like, it's the reason why I'm able to actually be so humble and grounded, you know, especially with my father and his influence in martial arts. It actually taught us a lot. So fitness has just always been a part of our journeys in life.
Abdul, being fit and healthy is not just about exercises. How important is a good diet for you?
Well, I mean, I'm a vegetarian. So it's something that's very important to me. You know, I make sure that I eat healthy because what you put in, you know, it really affects you in a lot of ways. And with keeping fit, eating well is the best thing you can do for yourself. So that's what I do most of the time.
So can we dispel the myth that you can't get this big by just eating vegetables?
No, it's a myth. I'll tell you now, elephants are vegetarian. Look at how big they are, you know, so definitely you can get as big as you want. It's just up to you and the discipline that you have with your workouts.
Lunch at SK's house was a chance to see what a team the brothers are, though they're never above roasting one another.
Yeah, what? Yeah. What?
How are you, man?
Come on, now. How many like guys? I ain't got I got a haircut. I got a whole tattoo finished. How long do you guys take?
Man, we are waiting for you to finish this masterpiece.
I'm hungry.
Let's do this.
You don't have to tell me twice, bro.
I am starving.
I'm starving too.
Okay.
All right, let's do this then.
Even if Abdul is vegetarian and his brother not, each is quite prepared to cook for the other, a source of further good-natured sparring.
It's clear that you guys have a tight bond, but what was the best thing about growing up together?
Basically, just being able to actually be naughty together. We were very adventurous, both of us. We got scars. We scarred each other, basically. We just got so much that we shared, you know, in our childhood. So it's one of the amazing things of having someone so close.
He's my ride or die since day one.
I see Abdul doing all the work. SK, what are you doing?
Do you have eyes, sir? Because I do. You can already see that there's something going on right now, you know? Come on, guys. Haircut, tattoo, and still had time to start the meme. I'm already winning. You need to catch up.
So this is what your mom used to do. What is here? I see the baked beans. I see tomato. Is this puree?
It's tomatoes that I chop, my man. Okay, come on now. Abdul, how are we looking?
I'm trying to convert a whole Voss into mince, basically, for this guy. So I've already
decided to make it.
No, but
I wanted meat, but it's fine.
You said you want mince and beans, so it's fine. So right now I'm gonna just let it boil. After that, I'll take it out so that I can start frying my onions and green peppers and start spicing things up so that when I throw it in, everything, you know, is just going to.
So you just had to use that voice, and then everything is going to be. Mine will not take that long. Very quick, you know. I'll even put the beans just 2 minutes before, you know what I mean, so you can still hear the when you bite.
Okay.
You guys both fell in love with acting from as young as 7 years old and got to play in a soapy together. What was that experience like?
It was actually fun, man. Like, we enjoyed ourselves a lot. You know, the fact that we actually are so close, but we actually had to play characters that don't like each other at all.
We killed it. It was weird playing enemies because we love each other to bits, but
we worked well together.
As the sons of a respected trade union leader, the guys have grown up with a balanced view of fair wages and conditions going hand in hand with a fair day's work.
You guys are clearly men of many talents. This tastes good.
We try, man. I mean, you know, you need to be handy these days. Ubaba was someone who could cook and basically do everything. Like he'll do the garden, the next time he'll be cooking. So we literally were shown by him that you can be a man even in the kitchen, you know. So we're not shy of it at all.
And I mean, it's sexy to be a man who knows how to cook.
SK, I saw the accolades in Abdul's house, but I had to congratulate you for being one of the finalists in Cosmo's Sexiest Man. What was that experience like?
When you're a nominated finalist, you are sexy. I'm sexy, inside and out. You know, I always say we don't do things because we want to impress. We love what we do, and it's good to get the appreciation and the love back, because it's blessings on blessings on blessings.
Guys, with all these accolades and awards, what does the future hold for both of you?
You know what, soon enough we'll be able to probably have a production that'll actually use both of us, and yeah, we look forward to
You just gotta write it into the universe and just put it out there.
Well, until then, I guess we can enjoy these amazing meals.
We can do that any day. This is us.
So what's for dessert?
The icing on the cake is witnessing each other's careers and family flourishing, and honoring and passing on the beliefs their parents instilled in them.
Fez, you, myself, Ryle, Harmony, we're brothers.
If we were, our poor mother,
Our poor directors.
our poor producers.
No one knows how they suffer.
Oh, the humanity.
Coming up, African painter Portia Zvavahera wakes up to inspiration as her nightly dreams become the subject of an international art career.
To Zimbabwe's Portia Zvavahera, her art is her therapy.
When she first presented it, she was told no one would buy it or want that kind of imagery on the walls of their home.
Until they started buying it and doing exactly that.
Turns out a lot of us can relate to what Portia is saying.
As a child, this artist in the making and her grandmother would describe their dreams to each other. By painting her dreams, she removes any negative energy and makes the association a positive one.
Hey Portia, it's really great to meet you.
Hi.
A lot of your work is influenced by the dreams that you have. What dream is depicted with this one?
I was surrounded by lots of animals and they wanted to attack me. So I wanted to run away. So the only way I could run away was to go up. And I wanted God to deliver me from the bondages.
You speak about God a lot when you're talking about your artwork. What part does he play in your creative process?
I can't do anything without his presence. It's like I believe these dreams, it's a communication between me and God.
Working from her studio in Harare, Portia is happily married to sculptor Gideon Gomo, and they have 2 children. Ironically, contentment doesn't make her productive as an artist.
You guys have such a brilliant synergistic relationship. It seems like you kind of feed into each other.
Yeah, that's very true. I think we'd say we naturally feed from each other since, you know, art is entirely a very dynamic language. So when she speaks, I might understand some of the things that she's saying in a way.
When he's stressing me, I produce more.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it always needs a ground to breed, you know, to grow from. I think that's more like her energy.
I can definitely feel the energy kind of bouncing between you guys. And clearly it's produced amazing work. I can see with this one, there's still those wings and what looks like a halo.
It's not actually a halo. It's like hands reaching out to God. I want to fly to where he lives. I don't know where, but I want to go there and maybe do a one-on-one. Yeah, in the position of kneeling down, I'm humbling myself before him. So I think he should answer.
I can add to that because, you know, when these dreams come up, you can really feel physically that she's depressed, physically that she's in bondage. So when the deliverance comes in her dreams, she cannot really explain, but I can feel it that now she's free. Now she's been delivered. She's been rescued.
And also sometimes when I put it on canvas, I feel free again because it's there now. I don't have to do anything with it.
She's done artist residencies from London to Bangalore, And Colin Cole of the Blue Door Print Studio in Joburg was delighted to host Porsha for a first-hand look at her process.
Colin, thank you so much for having us in your beautiful space. What inspired you to put together the Blue Door Print Studio?
There was a kind of a dearth of printmaking facilities available outside of tertiary education. And there was a huge interest from both artists and the normal public. And I decided, why not just open it, extend it, and see what would happen with it. And it became very successful and very interesting working with people, not only students from university, but all walks of life.
Miss Zvavahera uses print ink on canvas. Though even with all materials ready, she insists sometimes the painting doesn't want to be painted. Fez hoped this wasn't one of those days.
Really keen to get going. How can I help?
Just hold this. Right there.
That's my job.
Yes, to
Probably
just
the safest
hold
thing. How do you choose the colors? I mean, what's the dream we're trying to depict now?
It's not like I choose. As it comes, I just use any color I want.
Inspired, clearly.
So this is the sketch I'm doing. It's a dream that I had like about 2 weeks ago. I was seeing this man with long white hair, but this man wanted to attack me, but I felt like I was covered with this angel inside. So today I'm going to do that. I'm inside the angel protecting me.
That sounds majestic.
What's immediately clear is how freely Portia's hand moves in creating the lines of each painting. It's why her work feels so dynamic and energetic.
Oh, I can just see you there being enveloped by this angel protectively. When was it that you realized that your work had such an impact on people?
When I was in school, my work, people really were complaining about because it's scary. For them, it was very scary. So that's when I realized, so that means my work has an impact. I'm saying something to the people.
Emotions can be such an overwhelming thing, and I can imagine that it was quite scary. But when did you decide that being an artist was what you wanted?
I didn't actually decide. It's like when I was in school, I loved drawing. I used to draw for people, you know, just to get lunch. And then I went to secondary school. That's when I started doing art from Form 1. I didn't know that I can do this as a career. But then after school, I met this guy from the National Gallery. He told me about a school at the National Gallery, and since then, I've been doing art.
Her choice of color fills each canvas in a natural and spontaneous way. Porsha also has her own method of using lino printing plates.
So this is the stencil.
Yeah, this is the stencil. Instead of me using a lino tile, I use a card because it's soft. I can press it on the canvas and I can print.
Well, it seems simple enough. I mean, I feel like I could probably do that.
You can? Okay, go ahead then.
So it's just even pressure across?
Yeah, everywhere.
Oh, well, you feel quite artistic.
You are an artist, but you don't know.
There you have it. Now this is the big reveal. What do you think?
You didn't do this part, this one, but you get in there.
Ah, there we go, learning curve. It's the most important thing.
Yes.
Our timing was perfect, as the same day, the new Stevenson Gallery and Associate Director Lerato Bereng had chosen Portia's work for their opening exhibit.
Why did you guys decide to use her for the opening of your gallery?
Well, I must say we're very excited to have opened the gallery with Porsha. It's such a privilege to have her work. It's just so energetic and colorful and really just conceptually engaging. And then really, Porsha's body of work, which is called Talita Kumi, actually means arise, little girl, arise. So it's a really nice energy for the start of a new space.
It's important for African artists to be displayed, and she's on display here. Do you think that it's an issue that we need to address, one that needs to kind of come out more?
The work that we do is really to focus our lens on what we're doing on the continent. We celebrate and promote and try to expose as much as possible the creative output that's coming out from our continent and those that are in some way affiliated or interested or inspired by the continent.
The artist told us her greatest achievement is being able to keep working, thanks to platforms like this and interest from the likes of entrepreneur Mandla Sibeko.
Porsha represents a new generation of voices in Africa, and I think she is an important voice, really articulating her vision of a very vibrant, a very colorful, exciting continent, as you can see in the work.
So how does it feel seeing your wife's work on display?
It's amazing. I feel very, very proud, I would say. Yeah, I think the word proud doesn't really explain how I feel about it, because it's awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for letting me look into a bit of the process as to how these come about. And listen, Porsha, if you ever have any dreams about a certain doctor, I mean, I'd be more than happy to help you be a muse for one of them. I think that's a no.
Ms. Zvavahera's latest news is she's collecting fabric and printed materials from West Africa and has started designing her own clothes. We'll keep you posted.
What do you do with your dreams? Tell someone, write them down, turn them into music or art?
Join the party on #TopBilling and shed some light on this fascinating subject.
I sometimes dream I have Fez's abs.
Oh, stop.
And you sometimes dreams maybe you've got my eyes or...
No.
Arms, anything? Something? Nothing?
No. Nothing. Okay.
Next, wallpaper works a treat on the ceiling and a wine cellar so outrageous it's genius. Tonight's homeowners did it their way.
As geohydro consultants, Pretty and Mashudu Shandukani spend their days advising construction companies about what's happening beneath their feet.
When they decided to build their own house, they had to become expert on what happens above the ground, where they proved to be just as talented.
Both from rural villages in Limpopo, Pretty became a civil engineer and her husband Mashudu a geologist. Their decision to go independent and form a consultancy 11 years ago brought hard work and reward.
What are some of the unique challenges you faced building your own home as opposed to somebody else's?
Building your own house, at least you've got liberty. You know what you want, but when you're building somebody's house, at times you find that people always change and whatever they bring forward. Some clients are very difficult. So, but when building your own house, at least you know that you're only dealing with yourself.
How do you guys balance being partners in the business aspect and then coming back home and also having kids and everything else?
We are well able to differentiate the stresses that he go through as the CEO of the company and the stress that I go through as the MD of the company. So he understands my stresses, I understand his stresses. So we are well able to balance it when we come back home. As to now, we can take a break, we are at home. Let us be husband and wife and leave the stresses of work at work. Then that is how we normally balance it here at home.
Well, I can't wait to see this getaway that you guys come to after all the stress of business life.
Their ally in creating a home for entertaining and family was interior designer Elisha Annandale.
One of the most striking features, especially when you walk in, is this spherical chandelier. Who thought of that idea?
Well, I think the initial design started with the staircase, and we tried to bring in a lot of the circular elements. And initially we saw those lights, I think they just really popped, and we decided that that has to be, the focal point for this particular staircase as well, to complement it.
The interiors that are in here seem to fit so perfectly. Were they specifically designed for the space?
Each item in this particular home has been customized to fit each individual space. And that being said, in the formal lounge, we wanted to bring in the circular element again with the coffee tables, and you'll see the pop of the gold that ties in with the lighting, and the sort of marble detail that kind of inlays the coffee table just brings a bit of luxurious to that particular room.
As glamorous is the 4-meter-long, 12-seater table, where lunch or dinner is always an event.
So this being the dining room, so I think in particular, we customized this table as well as the combination of how we've put it all together based on the space. And I think Pretty Mashudu's particular requirements were to use the space as a dining room that they can use every day, but also entertain and have quite a few guests over.
The fabric was one of our main choices that we had to make to avoid it being damaged after people have dined. So at least we've chosen a fabric that is easy to clean, a fabric that we can all live with. Then we also chose a darker carpet so that going forward it's gonna be staying clean.
It all does come together so well, but again, striking feature, the chandelier, so different from what we saw when we came in.
Yes, so this dining table, because it was so large and it needed something that really was statement above it, we actually came across this light that really just implemented the focus point that we wanted to create, and it really just stands out. And then together with that, we wanted to bring in the wallpaper that's actually been done on the ceiling to kind of just make that even more of a focus point in this particular dining room.
Feature pieces are chosen sparingly for greater impact. And the showstopper takes you completely by surprise.
Guys, you're just blowing me away with each room we go into. But what is that in the floor?
This is a one cellar. It's one of the special features that we have in the house. Something which in the beginning of the project, I didn't have any idea of how it would look like. My wife was persistent for us to have this feature in the house, considering that I don't even drink alcohol. So I wasn't really moved to spend any money on something like this. But today it happens to be one of the special features that I love in this house.
Well, I have to say, this is something I'm gonna have in my house from now on, guys. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Smart interior architecture lets natural light through supporting walls. And when the family aren't busy preparing breakfast, lunch or dinner, you'd hardly know this is their kitchen.
Alicia, this is an open plan kind of space, and I can see that there's even a lack of appliances in the kitchen. What was your mandate here?
So I think because the kitchen is quite large and you also have a scullery as you walk to the back, you get the opportunity to hide away quite a lot of things that you don't want to visibly see. And yes, I think the overall design of the kitchen has been kept to the architecture, and it's been kept minimal but very straight line, straightforward.
Hence, we also kept in a clean look. If you can see, we never dropped an extractor from the roof. Our extractor comes from the bottom, going up as a downdraft. So this is why everything here keeps so clean. So we need to put that in mind every time when we use the kitchen clean.
The informal dining area naturally separates the lounge and kitchen. It's animated by a crystal-fluted chandelier and vibrant bronze Stoffberg artworks, while the outdoors called for some daring furniture design.
Guys, I can see myself throwing such incredible parties here. I love how big this couch is. All my friends could probably sit in here.
So I think the particular challenge on this patio was that it is so large, and to make it feel full, we wanted to bring in a sofa, which kind of ties in with the rest of the house and the design that we wanted to bring in. And keeping to the neutral palette, as you can see, with the bigger furniture in each living space, and then obviously changing scatter cushions and alternating on sort of smaller decor pieces within season.
Guys, which is your favorite part about this space?
This is one of my favorite parts in this house, because when I sit here, I like to see the mountainous area there that are not yet overpopulated with buildings, so it's still so natural. Then it flows back to our natural garden. As you can see, there's a nice water feature there, the nice overflowing pool to the basement. So everything in this space just make one to meditate.
Yes, maybe also to mention that this is one of the area where we spend most of the time with the kids, because it gives them liberty to play, and have that outdoor feeling where they can play in the garden and you can watch them wherever they go. It's a lovely area, I can say. I mean, from the surrounding of the house, I can say this is the best view you can have from the outside of the house.
The fruit trees they've planted around the house will in time mean that when a platter is sent up the elevator for breakfast in bed, Pretty and Mashudu will get to enjoy their own mangoes, lychees, nectarines and peaches. For now, they faithfully watch from their bedroom window as their future grows.
So I think the challenge when it came to the main bedroom was again having this big open space and how to make it cozy and feel welcoming and obviously a space that you want to enjoy. So we've tried to bring in different sort of areas and settees to kind of just make it feel warm, and by adding quite a few area rugs and accessories into the space. As you can see, the little settee behind you, and again also the 2 occasional chairs.
This bed is a special bed to us. It's a recliner bed, it's a massage bed. So if you come back from work and it's been hectic, so this is a good space to be. You recline, you align yourself to the good position, you massage yourself, you watch a nice movie if you prefer to be watching a nice movie, or you play a nice romantic song through the audios, then you are fully relaxed.
And I love the fact that this wall is actually very similar to the one you have downstairs, connecting the 2 spaces.
Yes, so what we've done with a lot of the accent focal pieces in this house, and especially where you can see the art pieces, is we've done the paneling to really make it a highlight and really to make the artwork stand out so much more. So another aspect to this main bedroom, I think, is definitely the bathroom as well as the dressing rooms. And Pretty Mashudu's requirements were to have each their own dressing room.
My wife is definitely a shoe collector, and we make sure that when we move into this new house, we must give her more than enough space, more than what she needs.
Mashudu demonstrated how equal closet space between man and woman is a myth.
Yes, Alicia and my husband are throwing me under the bus, but however, it's true. My closet space is bigger than his space. I made sure when I moved to this new home that all my things are catered. As a family, we enjoy traveling around the world. As we travel, I collect bags and shoes. I make sure that that is one thing that I will bring back to South Africa, because that is what I love most in my closet. So I make sure that I'm keeping my closet up to par.
Guys, after taking what feels like a journey through your amazing house, I can't wait to go to this entertainment area you keep talking about. So I'm gonna leave you here, and I'll see you later.
Bye.
Pretty's 12 years as a civil engineer and Mashudu's 16 as a geologist have afforded them the finer things. They credit their achievement to their faith in God. It's central to their happiness, success, and the chance to broaden the horizons for their daughters Afunwayo and Oritonda.
Hello guys.
Hello.
I've actually been going through your house the whole day, and it's amazing. What do you love most about it?
The cinema, because we get to sit there and watch our favorite movies, and the playground because I get to play with my sister.
And Ori, what do you love most about the house?
My bedroom.
Ah, your bedroom. Why do you love your bedroom so much?
I get to play with my teddies in bed.
Ori, what do you love about mom and dad?
Because they give us kisses.
Oh. And Funo, what do you love about them?
I love mom and daddy because they give us kisses and they help me with my schoolwork.
Maybe I can share some of the popcorn?
Yeah.
Art Squad, let's get to it.
If he'd known babysitting was this much fun, Fez would have done more of it. Having laid solid foundations, the Shandukanis aren't forgetting to enjoy life.
Neither Pretty or Mashudu drink wine, but they've gone through all that effort to create that amazing wine cellar for guests.
So I think it's essential that we,
do a thorough check.
Yeah, sample the goods.
Sounds right.
Coming up, Britain's reigning queen of baking, Nadiya Hussain,
Cook won Britain's greatest bake-off competition. She's made cake for Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, and here she is now.
Wait, you'll have to wait and see.
A mother of 3, Nadiya was studying social work when her husband suggested that instead of watching her favorite food show, she enter it. When she won, doors opened across the globe.
You are such a breath of fresh air. I mean, I watch you on television all the time, but to finally reach, I'm like, here we are. Completely. So welcome to South Africa, I guess.
Thank you.
I know you've only been here for a very short time, but how are you finding the culture of the country, our beautiful sunny weather? And it's probably sunny most of the time, better than the UK.
Yes, definitely. The weather's nicer.
And have you tried anything like biltong?
I have. I've tried biltong and it is delicious.
Yeah, better than beef jerky?
Yes.
Somebody that loves biltong as much as I do.
When asked about their mom's job, her children say she lives her dreams.
You have quite an amazing story, from self-taught home cook to winning one of the biggest baking competitions in the UK, and I believe you also baked a cake for the Queen. Did you ever think this would be your life and this would be your career?
When you say it like that, I sometimes I don't quite believe it myself, and then when you say it like that, I think, oh my goodness, that did actually happen.
So what are we making today?
So we are making a raspberry ice cream cake. Raspberry, fresh fruit, ice cream cake. What's not to love, right?
My body's like, I'm so excited. Okay, so what's the first step?
So first, we're going to make a really simple sponge.
Since winning Britain's Greatest Bake Off, this TV audience favourite has hosted 3 of her own shows. She's a regular columnist for The Times and has ongoing publishing deals for her cookbooks as well as her children's books.
So is that the consistency you want?
So you don't want it to be clumpy. Give it 2 minutes, give it a really good whisk, and you should have something that's really smooth and glossy. So we've got a 20 centimetre cake tin lined, ready to go, and this is going to help the cake to come out.
Okay.
So we're going to scrape all of that straight in there, and you can do whatever you like. You know, you could add fresh fruit to this mixture, you could add cocoa to it, you could add extract, you know, a bit of orange zest. You know, you did not waste a bit.
Nothing.
Good job.
After preheating your oven to 180 degrees, bake your cake for 50 minutes on the middle shelf. Then leave to cool in the tin for 15 minutes.
Take a sharp knife, and the trick is not to go all the way through.
This is such a cool trick.
So you just kind of cut all the way around. And this is one that my kids really like doing. I really enjoy doing stuff because it goes from being just any old cake to something a little bit special.
Special,
absolutely. And I think that's really important. So now I'm just going to score, just so it's easy to get this cake out. So I'm just going to score the top.
Nadiya, having achieved so much, what would you say are some of the challenges from being a home cook to literally building an empire in the cooking space?
It's about managing, I suppose. That's the hardest thing for me, has been managing kind of being a mum and having this career at the same time. And I'm really lucky because I have a very supportive husband, and that always helps. But I'm also very lucky that I've got 3 sisters and a great mum. So I've been really lucky in that if I didn't have the balance, I wouldn't have what I have right now. But like, I have to give it to my husband. Without him, I don't know that I could have achieved this much, because he's just like, yeah, go off. Go off, you do your thing, and I'll keep the kids. Now for the filling. So I'll move this to a side here. Let's leave that there, and then let's make the ice cream. Now this is going to be the quickest ice cream you have ever made in your life.
Start with 300 mils of double cream.
Let's get some golden syrup in there, and this is going to stop it from crystallizing. So you know when you make an ice cream, sometimes it just freezes rock solid. If you get tired, you can pass it to me.
I like a good challenge, but I mean, I do like cake as well, but I didn't realize it came with so much work.
Yeah, and you're also vertically challenged like me, because I can see you on your tippy toes. Yeah. So that's our cream done. And now, remember those cake crumbs? So I've taken about 100 grams of those cake crumbs and crumbled them up.
Love.
We're gonna add that in there.
Oh,
no wasting, remember?
All this deliciousness.
All of that deliciousness. Okay, so now you add the raspberries.
It literally just gets better and better and better. Just when I thought like, oh, it can't get better than this, she just says, raspberries, crumbs. I'm like, what's next? Okay.
Right, so let's give that a little mix.
Okay.
I'm gonna just like fold everything through.
Right.
Squish those raspberries.
Oh, can you squish
a
them?
little bit, because
Okay.
you want them to bleed a little bit
Right,
and stain that cream.
Put the mixture into the hollowed out cake and level off the surface. Pop it onto a freezer tray, cover the top with a fresh fruit, and freeze for at least 2 hours.
Why do you think you love baking so much?
It's therapeutic. For me, it's therapeutic. I love baking because it's so exact. So I suffer with panic attacks and I've got anxiety. So the reason why I started baking in the first place was because there's something, when you're baking, you have to focus your mind on the recipe and in that zone. So I used baking as my therapy, I suppose.
I absolutely love cooking as well, and I find it very therapeutic, particularly when I'm feeling like a little bit low.
Yeah.
And I'll like have a glass of wine, I'll cook, and I'll sing, which I can't. And I actually find it quite therapeutic as well, and people just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think that everybody can cook and bake, and then I met my husband, and turns out you can't.
Well, he loves you anyway.
It doesn't matter. I mean, there's no help for him, but let's face it, he eats all right, so it's okay. He does everything else.
Right.
He does everything else, so it's okay.
Now, Nadiya, you love to write. You've got cookbooks, children's books, fiction. Which style of books do you enjoy writing the most?
They're very different. What I love about writing the cookbooks is when I write my cookbooks, they're almost autobiographical because every recipe I write seems to just have a story. There's always a memory or a food memory or a story or something. It's usually my dad. There's always some memory attached to that recipe. So I like writing the recipe books because I can do the two things hand in hand.
That's amazing. Boom! Listen. Try the recipe at home. It's delicious, it's amazing, and it's simple. But you know what I love the most is the fact that even if you remove the sponge, you could just have that ice cream bit on its own.
Exactly.
If you come to my house and I'm churning ice cream, please tell me I'm wasting your time, because this is the new way to make ice cream, kids, okay?
It's so bad, it's good for you.
Nadiya, it's been absolutely amazing spending time with you. You're such a breath of fresh air. And I wish you all the best with everything that you've got to do. Can I say bottoms up with the tea?
Maybe, whatever, let's do it.
There are 2 cookbooks to be won. Details on our Facebook page.